And that is what it means to join the flip side.
The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 was just unveiled at Galaxy Unpacked. If you're thinking of upgrading from the Flip 3 or 4, I'm sure you're wondering how the new Flip 5 compares. Let's break down how the specs of the Flip 5 stack up against those of the Flip 3 and 4 so you can get a better idea of which one's right for you. And remember that the specs don't tell the whole story, so subscribe to CNET to see our continued coverage of the Flip 5 once we have it in hand. There is an obvious difference between the Flip 5 and the Flip 3 and 4, and it's probably the one I'm most excited about, the larger cover screen. The cover screen on the Flip 3 and 4 is 1.9 inches, and while that's an improvement over the original Flip's 1.1-inch cover screen, it still feels small to me. I have the Flip 3, and I found myself wanting a bigger cover screen that allows me to do more without actually having to open my phone. Like, for instance, not only being able to see notifications, but being able to reply to them as well. The Flip 4 cover screen allows you to send pre-written replies to certain messaging apps, but you can't type out a response. The Flip 5 cover screen, on the other hand, is 3.4 inches and allows you to do more with the phone closed than ever before, like typing out replies to texts. There are also over 12 new widgets. With this update, Samsung has given the Flip cover screen a snazzy name, the Flex window. Like the Flip 3 and 4, the Flip 5 has an armor aluminum body and an IPX8 rating for water resistance. I actually have the same Flip 3 phone that CNET's Lexi Savides dunked in 10 feet of pool water back in 2021, and it's still working great, which makes the Flip 5's IPX8 rating seem promising. And the Flip 5 has been upgraded to Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2. Samsung claims all of this amounts to the Flip 5 having its top protection. If you want to see any Flip 5 durability testing, let me know in the comments below. Speaking of added durability, the Flip 5 has a new thinner hinge that Samsung calls the Flex hinge. It's redesigned so the phone now folds completely closed and doesn't have that gap found on earlier Flips. Samsung claims this hinge should also make the Flip 5 more durable because it has less moving parts. And like the Flip 3 and 4, the Flip 5 has a 120Hz refresh rate screen. The Flip 5 features Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, the same chip found in Samsung's S23 phones. The Flip 4 has the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 processor, and the Flip 3 has the Snapdragon 888 chip. The Flip 3 offers 128 and 256 GB storage options with 8 GB of RAM, while the Flip 4 offers those two storage options plus a 512 GB option with 8 GB of RAM. The Flip 5 nixes that 128 GB storage option and starts out at 256 GB of storage with 8 GB of RAM. There's also a 512 GB storage option with 8 GB of RAM as well. The Z Flip 5 starts at $1,000, so Samsung is doubling the base amount of storage for the Flip 5 without increasing the price. We love to see it. The camera specs on the Flip 3 and 4 are pretty similar. Here are the full specs for both. Both phones have a 10 megapixel selfie camera with an f2.4 lens and the same pixel size and field of view. Both phones have 12 megapixel main and ultra-wide cameras, but the Flip 4's main camera has a greater pixel size and field of view. Now let's add the Flip 5 into the mix. The Flip 5 selfie camera has a slightly faster aperture than the Flip 3 and 4, an f2.2 lens versus an f2.4 lens. And its selfie camera has a slightly greater field of view than the Flip 4 selfie camera, but the Flip 5 has the same rear camera specs as the Flip 4. One of my favorite things about the Flip 3 is being able to use the cover screen as a viewfinder while taking selfies from the rear camera. So I'm looking forward to having even more space to frame my rear camera selfies with the larger cover screen. You'll also be able to review, favorite, or delete photos from that new cover screen. The Flip 5 cameras also feature a new lens coating that Samsung says should lessen lens flare and ultimately heighten image quality no matter the time of day. The new Flip 5 has the same battery capacity as the Flip 4, 3,700 mAh, while the Flip 3 has a battery capacity of 3,300. In his Flip 4 review, CNET's Patrick Holland found that the Flip 4's larger battery coupled with a newer processor only led to a small increase in battery life. The Flip 3 could make it to late afternoon before needing to be charged, while the Flip 4 could make it through a day, but just barely. And if he used the Flip 4 to, say, watch a lot of videos or take a lot of photos, forget about the whole day. That battery lasted until early evening if he was lucky. because that 3,700 milliamp hour battery capacity still means the phone barely got through a day on a single charge in CNET's Flip 4 testing, it's a little disappointing that it wasn't upgraded for the Flip 5. But the Flip 5 does have a newer processor that Samsung claims should extend battery life, so we will of course see if it makes any difference in our review of the phone. And last but not least, let's talk colors. The Flip 5 comes in mint, graphite, cream, and lavender, and Samsung.com will feature exclusive gray, blue, green, and yellow colorways. And those are all the specs to help you understand the difference between the new Flip 5 and the Flip 3 and 4. Now, you definitely have to stay tuned for our review to see if these on-paper specs actually translate in real-life use, and thank you so much for watching.